It's the season of reunions and joy, and Netflix is gifting us in the best way possible with That 70's Show sequel, That 90's Show. Honestly, just watching the trailer and seeing some of those familiar faces took us down memory lane. So join us as we look back at the prequel and its best moments, and talk about what we expect from the all-new That 90's Show. First, let's talk about the teaser. Can you believe how young Kurtwood Smith and Debra Rupp look? It's as if they haven't aged at all. Even the vibe of the show seems to be sticking close to the 1998 version. We loved all the new cast members too. This time, we're all about the teenagers staying in the famed Kitty in Red basement, where they're likely to find adventures we're so used to watching in the show. But did you know that this wasn't even in the creators' plans? That's right, Bonnie and Terry Turner, the creators of the 70's Show, didn't even want to think about rebooting the show when Netflix first approached them. Then they thought about it some more and said no again. And then they decided to go for it. That was when they approached Greg Metler, who was also a writer on That 70's Show and Third Rock from the Sun, to become the showrunner for the prequel. And the rest, as they say, is history. Real history, mind you, because the 90's Show is going to focus on exactly that. Whether it's the famed basement or everyone's obsession with it, it's returning in a full 90's setup. And we can't wait to watch everyone in it. Oh, and be ready for some special cameos from Topher Grace, Mila Kunis, Wilmer Valderrama, Laura Prepon, and Ashton Kutcher. Their appearance isn't officially announced yet, but we're sure we'll be seeing some more familiar faces on and off in the 10-episode series. Now for some That 70's Show nostalgia. We told you we'll be listing down our favorite moments, didn't we? And now that we know who's a part of the cast and who else we'll be expecting to see in cameos and regular appearances, let's check out some of their best moments from That 70's Show that live in our head rent-free. Starting with the Ye Olde 70's Show. Remember that episode? The whole fantasy element in it was crazy. When Donna started that story, we never thought we'd be seeing Topher Grace play that part. From Derek killing Wanda's cat, to him hiding dirty magazines under his bed. The whole character was so melodramatic and fun. We couldn't take our eyes off the screen. Oh, and what about when he declares war on all cats named Sir Bonkers? An equal amount of stupid, mean, and witty. Exactly what we've come to expect of him. So yeah, if we had to count our top favorite moments, this one will always make the top. Also, remember when the guys meet Fez? He may have been our favorite character on the show, but there's a story to how he met the guys, and we love it. Their friendship is born out of the most unusual circumstance, when the guys find Fez in the janitor's closet, where he's locked in by the football team. Now that's rude, but God bless Hyde's soul, who not only stops Kelso from attacking Fez, but also promises that he'll protect him if the team bothers him again. Squad goals through and through. Next, every time they hold the circle. A recurring theme in That 70's Show is the circle. But did you know that this was actually a way for the show to represent the cast smoking weed? Yep, that was a common practice back in the Ye Olde 70's, but the show obviously couldn't show that, so instead they created the circle. Basically, every time the camera moved to the next person, it represented a joint being passed to that character. Now that's some genius storytelling. And what's even more interesting is that all the times the guys acted the way they did now actually makes a lot of sense. All of them were high at the time. No wonder they went to such comical lengths every time they held the circle. Speaking of getting high, remember when Kelso found all that pot? Yep, we're talking about that time he finds his stash in Jackie's cabin. But that isn't even the funniest part. The hilariousness actually begins when Jackie and the Foremans arrive, and Kelso hides inside a vase. We gotta give it to him. That's one creative hiding spot. And the whole scene just keeps getting funnier, especially when he struggles to free his hands, but gets stuck further. Obviously, it all ends with him messing up even more and getting caught. Poor guy. All he wanted was his stash, but ended up in all that mess. Now, there was the time all the guys got high. Honestly, now that we think about it, this show was all about smoking up and getting high. This moment's from another one of their high incidents, when they hold a circle just before Eric leaves for Africa. In a hilarious sequence as they reminisce about their most hilarious adventure, they're caught by none other than Red and Kitty, who are super super angry, but their anger falls short as everyone's so high. None of them register how annoyed they are. Instead, the couple is shown from each of their perspectives, making the scene even funnier. And trust us, the whole thing gets funnier every time you rewatch it. It's as if we're as high as the guys. Let's talk about the Mila and Ashton chemistry. Did you know that the couple actually kissed for the first time in the show? And to think they're happily married now. We still can't forget how we used to dream of Jackie and Kelso ending up together, and they actually did in real life. So yes, while this isn't really a moment from the show, we think it's one of the best things from the series, and it just makes the whole story even more special. Moving on, that time Kelso couldn't control the weather. You can't be a true That 70's Show fan if you don't remember this one. It's from the 3rd season's episode Ice Shack, where Kelso invites Eric, Donna, and Jackie to a romantic getaway. It's also one of the many times the couple's broken up. So this getaway was basically Kelso's way of winning her back. He also excludes Fez from the plan purposefully, so he can't put a wrench in his way of winning his love back, but he catches up anyway. But much to everyone's surprise and shock, the romantic getaway soon turns into a chore, as they realize they've reached an icy shack, and not a cozy cabin. They still try to make the best of the situation, and play the newlywed game, but just before they're heading inside, Eric offers his coat to Donna, as she's feeling cold. That's when the comedy happens, as Jackie asks for the same, when Kelso says, "Jackie, I can't control the weather." If there's anything funnier than this line, we'll wait for you to tell us, because for us, the line keeps getting funnier with every rewatch. Coming up, that time Donna lent a hand to Jackie. There's no doubt that these two had a lot of differences, especially Jackie, who was always so mean to Donna. But then when Jackie lost her family and ended up alone, Donna was the one who gave her a home and let her move in. Honestly, the unconditional love and friendships are what defined so much of That 70's Show for us. And with this move, as both girls became closer, the show just got a lot better. Now there's also I Love Cake. Who hasn't got an awkward dating story of their own? But we bet none of them are as awkward as Eric's, when he accidentally exclaims "I love cake" in reply to Donna's "I love you." Honestly, who does that? Like, we get it. You're on a romantic night out and not expecting a declaration of love. That's gotta make you nervous, especially if it's someone as fab as Donna saying it. But saying "I love cake" in return is probably as bad as Otis saying "that's nice" when Ruby says "I love you" to him in education. Honestly, kids, where are your manners? But as awkward as the moment was, we can't deny it's one of the funniest ones in the show, and gives us a pretty funny one-liner to quote if our dates become really awkward. Last but not least, the final New Year's celebration. After the show had spanned many seasons and the characters had gone through their own growth and life arcs, the finale was one episode where we got all the feels back. We'd almost lost hope of seeing Eric again, but then he returned from Africa as well, along with Kelso returning from Chicago, and all was well again in That 70's universe. Honestly, we can't wait for them to show up again in That 90's Show either. Just make sure you have tissues handy, because that kind of nostalgia can definitely fire up the waterworks. That's a wrap for this video. What are your expectations with That 90's Show? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.